Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Hope everyone's having a lovely evening and that you had a chance to check out the show last night. We had a great conversation with Ben and Rob from Edge of Wonder. Tonight we're going to have an even more interesting conversation with the host of the Tinfoil Hat podcast, Sam Tripoli, and my good friend, you know him from No Restriction Entertainment, that would be John Paul Rice, who's actually featured on the Patreon version of the Tinfoil Hat podcast. But both these guys, we've got some cool stuff to talk about. I'm sure everybody heard about the drama this week, but it looks like we might have some good news. So we're going to get into all this and more, and we'll be right back after a quick word from my sponsor. Now, you may not know much about Holland, but it's one of the world's greatest trading nations and has been involved in commerce for hundreds of years. The Dutch National Bank holds about $20 billion worth of gold in its vaults, which are scattered around the world for safety. It has recently been buying more, and on its website it says that gold always retains its value, crisis or no crisis, and they are expecting trouble, big financial trouble, and you should too. Will your personal IRA accounts still hold their value in a financial meltdown? If you don't know the answer to this, you don't have ownership and control of your own retirement savings. This leaves you at the mercy of the markets, and that's not a great place to be when it all goes wrong. So many people got their financial hands burned in the last big downturn. If you expect to stay safe, you have to look to yourself and not put all your hopes in Washington and the Fed. Find out how you can secure your IRA or 401k. Get a tax break, and take back control by calling Noble Gold today at 877-646-5347 or hit the link below to get the Learn About Gold video series. Call 877-646-5347 and ask to speak with a representative, and make sure you tell them that Red Pill 78 sent you. Thank you so much to Noble Gold for sponsoring this program. Thanks to them, I'm able to put these shows together and do it without worrying too much about what I say. But even still, you know, there's a couple of things you're not supposed to say on YouTube, a couple of things you're not supposed to do. But we try to get around it as best we can. You guys, check this out. I got something a little different here. I've got the chat box on the screen when it's just me on the camera, so it's a little bit different setup. I want to say hello to everyone. Hello to my mods. I see Wheezy Girl, Jojo K, Karma Anon. Good to see you guys. I know my mom's out there in the audience, even though I can't see her tweeting, or excuse me, chatting. Was anybody else having problems with Discord today? I normally do a bunch of coordination on Discord, and I was unable to access it. But regardless, we're all here now. I see Patriots from Ohio, London, Washington, Burlington, Ontario, Ruston, Louisiana, England, Florida, Las Vegas, people from all across the globe. You guys, like I said, we're going to be talking with Sam Tripoli and John Paul Rice, and I'd like to please ask you to join me in welcoming them to the program. Sam and John, how are you guys?
Hi, guys. How are you? Hello, Red Pill. How are you, bud?
Not too bad, brother. Not too bad. I first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. John, I know you're in the middle of moving. Sam, I know you got a show right after this show. So for both of you to be able to put aside the time to come on here and speak with me and the audience, it's an honor. I appreciate it, guys.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you on a Saturday night.
So Sam, I had the shock of my life this week. I go to look for your new video, and your entire channel was gone. What happened?
Well, you know, like 2 days ago, I woke up and not literally, but figuratively, my phone was on fire because everything was just going crazy. Basically what happened, man, was that for some reason I woke up and they wiped my entire YouTube channel off of YouTube. It was gone, no reason, no nothing. Then all of a sudden, you know, and I'm getting texts from people all over the place and going, what the hell just happened? And it was a very cool feeling to know that people cared, you know, and I was really shocked by the reaction. You know, you put out these videos, you see these views, but you don't realize like the real impact you have on people.
Sure.
So people hit me up, and I started getting hit up by some very wonderful people. And I just really want to say that, you know, the concern and the people reaching out and offering help came from the entire spectrum of entertainment and you know, and political spectrum as well. You know, it wasn't just you know, comics, but it was also, you know, conspiracy theorists or podcasters, YouTubers, everyday people reaching out saying what they could do, and it like really let you know that, you know, we're, you know, you other people, you know, Edge of Wonder reached out. Jason Biermes did a wonderful video on me, my situation. Everybody, you know, the Conspiracy Farm, Grimerica. I could go on forever about people who reached out, and celebrity comics like Joe Rogan, Andrew Schultz, my YouTube guy, Bill Shannon. They all went to bat for me at YouTube, and Joe Rogan really went hard in the paint. And there was a lot of people who were like, "When is Rogan gonna say something?" But you know, he was on it right from the start, and like, you know, I'm very thankful to everybody who reached out and seemed to care about my little show. You know.
Well, I mean, you've got quite the reach, man. You know, even if it's not just YouTube, I mean, you get millions of downloads a month on your podcast alone, you know, and you've got all the various channels, everybody who's connected with the show. So you said you had absolutely no warning from YouTube. It's just, you know, because normally they're supposed to send you a warning. They say, you know, you did this wrong or you did that wrong, or, you know, just watch your mouth, whatever it might be.
Well, no, yeah, no strikes at all. You know, for as much as off the grid, crazy, anarchist, rebel, like people think I am, I very much play the rules. Like if I do a comedy club, I don't want to go there and be disrespectful to the staff, disrespectful to the club, disrespectful to the people who bought tickets to see me. I'm very much like, I want to do my own thing, but I play well with others. So like I'm very cautious about what YouTube puts out and what their rules are. So I always play the rules. I'm always, whenever I get an email from YouTube, I always check it out. And I got no strikes. The only thing I'd gotten was I did a episode on the Vegas shooting, and I just got told it was not they couldn't monetize it. They didn't want any sponsors on. That was about it. And you know, I myself am not so much worried about monetization as much as you know, because I like to get sponsors on my show. So I don't really get mad at YouTube when they give me a yellow $sign. And for those who don't know what the system is, YouTube puts, if you get the YouTube Studio app, it will tell you what your video standing is. Green is it's good for all advertisers. Yellows, it's like, it's monetizable, but not all sponsors. Some sponsors, and then there'll be a black $sign with a strike through it, and that says you know, it's not happening.
Yeah.
So I'd only got one of those in the couple of years I've been monetized. I'd only got one that I can remember that was like, no, you can't get monetized. So I always played within the rules on that, and I got no strikes, none at all. And it was very crazy.
So do you think that this was a targeted hit on your channel, or do you think that there's a potential that maybe it was, you know, just an accident by somebody?
Well, you know, here's the whole thing. Myself, a friend of mine named Godfrey, he had his channel taken out, and I think there was one other gentleman that I can't remember his name at this moment, but that was it. And, you know, the strike came for selling Blue Chew, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Blue Chew. Yeah, I just used the promo code Tinfoil Hat. Anyway, Blue Chew. You go on, you go to Blue Chew, and it's like, and here's the thing that's very scary. The strike was, it said, for selling of goods. I'll read you the exact same.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Exact wordage of the strike. And hold on 1 second. Here is the exact wordage of the strike. Content intended to sell illegal or regulated goods and services. Now, why is that even? If it's illegal or it's regulated, that's everything. There's no, either something's legal or illegal or it's regulated. I don't know why. So it's very like broad. Okay.
Yeah, they tend to be pretty vague.
Such as drugs and pharmaceuticals without a prescription is not allowed on YouTube. That includes directly selling or providing links to sites that sell regulated goods and services, which is like so all over the place. First of all, if we're talking Blue Chew, and I believe that's what we're talking about, their whole system is you get to you go on their line and you answer questions and they give you a prescription. It's very I mean, and here's the thing, Blue Chew is everywhere. If you couldn't throw a cat without hitting a YouTube channel or podcast that didn't have Blue Chew on it. And so it makes no sense. But the scariest thing came, dude. It's not even that scares me. It's the next paragraph that to me was way darker, okay? And that is this. Please be advised, please be aware that you are prohibited from accessing, possessing, or creating any other YouTube account.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what does that mean? That means because I put out a boner pill. I don't know your crowd, but if your mom's here, my apologies. Clean, yeah. Okay. You're good. Okay. If I put this out, all right, I'm banned from YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to start a channel with somebody else's name or a pseudonym or something like that. But you can't do it as a pseudonym if you're going to try to get it monetized again, because, you got to be able to get paid if that's how it's going to work. So yeah, you potentially, this was a life-ending, career-making decision for right? your YouTube career.
And for a comedian, because now comics are, YouTube is a very big deal for comedians. That you see them now, they're putting on all their clips, and my special's on there. My special got wiped out for the short time there. I'm at a comedy club in La Jolla right now at the Comedy Store, and they couldn't use any of my clips because my YouTube channel was down. That would have been a death blow, and I think that should scare people.
YouTube has a lot of power, and I see people every now and then like, why do you care so much about, what YouTube's doing to you? Well, I mean, this is more than just, a career for us. I mean, like, there is access to so much as a result of having a YouTube channel, being able to share your videos, being able to share your opinion, it's a career. Obviously, your website can't use your clips because you're just no longer there. And the ability for other people, new people, to find you and get turned on to whatever it is you're doing, it's just absolutely, completely wiped out. So what ended up happening? Did you reach out to YouTube directly, or did somebody else reach out to them on your behalf?
Well, my YouTube guy, Bill Shannon, put in our, we fought back and we put back why we should be have my channel reinstated, and then people like Joe Rogan and Andrew Schultz went into the guts of YouTube and talked to some people and told them what happened, and the next day I was told it was up, and
sweet.
So, which is a blessing, but it's like in YouTube, if people go, oh man, why do you care about YouTube? You don't understand what we do. Okay. I mean, YouTube is not part of the marketplace. It is the market. Absolutely. It is the market. There is nothing that gets even close to, like BitChute or BitUte is a wonderful website. It is growing by the day. But I have an Alex Jones video that got hundreds of thousands of views. When I put that on that other website, BitChute, which is a great website, it got 3,000 views.
Yeah.
And it's growing, and I'm now going to make sure I put all of my content on that other thing. But for right now, this moment is like, it's too big. I don't know if it's too big, but it has too much power. And when I see like you and Edge of Wonder working together, that would never have happened unless you both had YouTube channels that you knew that you guys had similar views and wanted to work together.
Yeah, exactly. I get people all the time, BitChute specifically. It sounds like everybody's trying to go to BitChute and maybe use that as the replacement for YouTube. But, as it is now, my daily schedule, researching, filming, editing, even just uploading, getting a video on YouTube from start to finish, that can take just about an hour, depending on what your internet connection's like. So to replicate that process on, 4 or 5 different platforms just to make sure that you've got the coverage and you've got enough people watching your stuff, I mean, you wouldn't have any time to do anything else, I mean, it's a great thing to have people going over to BitChute. But, you know, as it stands right now, as long as YouTube is pretty much the only game in town, it's a little much, unfortunately.
And, you know, it's like, not to get into the actual, I can't give out the actual numbers, but like on my computer, in my email is a very lucrative sponsorship contract for a number that blows my mind for a guy who flunked first grade, okay? To be able to have a contract like this, waiting for me to sign is like mind-blowing to me. That contract is directly affected by this decision that they made. And luckily it was given back, but at the same time, like that affects my numbers. And it's not just like, oh, I just want to have my channel so monetized so they can put, it's like, dude, this is people's livings.
Yeah. And of course, we know that sponsorship is dependent upon the fact that you're on the largest platform on the face of the earth, you know, where most people are going to have the opportunity to learn about whatever product that is or service. So, John, what did you think when you heard this was all going down?
Well, I felt partly responsible.
Oh, no. Why is that? Just because you're such a nice guy?
No, yeah, that Care Bear anger.
Yeah. John's got that Care Bear anger.
The outrage. No, I mean, I was shocked, and I was like, I wanted to know from Sam, actually, what were some of the things going through your head as to, was there like a series of events that you were trying to retrace your steps as to where they may have come in, and or what you were about to do or what you had tried to upload, or were you seeing any signs on the platform in terms of throttling or any segment that you recently did that you felt like there was shadow banning going on the other platforms? Have you looked into that?
John, I'm going to tell you something because you brought this up and I think it's a very important thing. I had noticed, John, that my the comment section on my YouTube channel, meaning the comments to each video, was starting to get very, very negative.
Yes.
Like very negative.
Yeah.
Like I have another podcast called Punch Drunk Sports, and it's me and my buddy, and we've been doing it for 8 years, and it has a nice little following. It's very much a blessing to be able to talk sports with your friend, and you know there's a lot of like, you know, people talking trash to each other on that thing. But, you know, one of my buddy who runs my board, Johnny Woodard, who runs my board at my new studio, he would always talk about how nice the tinfoil hat fans were, that they were so supportive.
Yeah.
But over the last month, I noticed that like the knives were out. It was like very, and you know, I 100% believe that it is being done on purpose.
Absolutely.
There are AIs and bots that are just there to fight with people. I remember one time there was a comment where someone made about like a sponsor I'd had before, and I never did that reading on that particular episode. So it was some weird data point that this bot had noticed, and it was just going off, and it had gotten so negative. So you read these comments, and it's like, so much of it's negative. Then you look at the likes and the dislikes. So you'll have a video that gets like 40,000 views, right? And then you got 80 dislikes, but then you got a zillion like negative comments. And like that to me is like, what is going on here? And that's why when I got banned, I was like, man, that kind of correlates with everything. And that's kind of what we do in our group, is like, we start taking these puzzle pieces and we start putting them together. And when they just kind of click perfectly, that's when I think you might be onto something.
Oh, totally. You know, I mean, that's one of the things I'm always worried about here, too, because that's actually in the terms of service on YouTube. If you've got a comment section that is particularly abusive, or maybe they're using what YouTube considers to be hate speech, they can choose to delete your channel just based on that. I'm going to expound on that in just a sec, but I got to do a couple of quick thank yous to the audience. Dana Finkler says, keep up the great work, brother. Where we bark one, we bark all. Thank you again, Dana. Florida Sunsprite says, I feel dumb that I don't know who Sam is. Sam is an internationally renowned comic, a comedian, and he has his own podcast, 2 podcasts we now know, the Tinfoil Hat Podcast, which is available if you go to the link in the description of this video below. I should also mention that Sam's Twitter and the Twitter for Tinfoil Hat is also in the description below, as well as a website where you can buy your own T-shirts made by the Tinfoil Hat Podcast.
T-shirts are badass, by the way.
Yeah, I gave John a bunch. John's been on both the Patreon and the regular feed multiple times. He is a man of great knowledge and passion. And when he does get mad, we joke with him because even when he's mad, he's just lovable. And,
he is.
But we appreciate that about John, because John is very passionate about what he does, and as are you, Red Pill. You work very hard and putting out some dark stuff, and it's like, well, why is there this pushback? Right now we have Sacha Baron Cohen right now.
Oh, yeah.
Pushing a narrative that makes no sense, and everybody is sitting there going, well, if Hitler was around, he'd be selling ads on Facebook and blah, blah, blah. And I go, well, what the conspiracy theorists would talk about is obviously the Holocaust happened, but what we talk about is who's Hitler?
Yeah.
Who is he? What does he represent? How did he get the power? Who funded him? And and why is that negative? Why does that information need to be hidden from everybody? Because if it means nothing, what are you afraid of? And that's really what's going on, is that we are hitting on a level. Like, there are people who haven't lost their YouTube channel that put out very negative stuff, and we hear it all the time. And you're like, well, why is that person still here? And all these guys just putting out, my channel really is just, we are more alike than we are different.
Yes, most definitely.
Getting us to fight with each other.
Yeah.
And that's why. So it's just an interesting game that's being played right now.
Yeah. Every now and then it seems like there is an uptick in the chat here, or I'll see it in the comments section. It's just almost like an explosion of just like a certain type of negativity, and people just, being really vicious. And I know that it's not my viewers, because, we have a very respectful channel here too. And my viewers are, nice people. I don't think that I have anybody that I notices that watches the channel that is, like an evil or hateful person. Nick L said, keep fighting. Thank you for that, Nick. Social Observer says banned.video has live streaming. I'll have to check it out. Social Observer, thank you for that. Vader's Force Ghost says, Baby Yoda, are you guys watching The Mandalorian? I'm telling you, you need to. If you lost hope in Star Wars, this is great.
Well, my whole thing is I have a real problem with Disney.
Oh, I understand. And everything that they've done with Star Wars until this moment in time is horrible, okay? But The Mandalorian, it's Jon Favreau, Iron Man, he's great.
I did a show once, a stand-up show with Jon Favreau. I knew Vince Vaughn back in the day. I haven't seen him in a while, but was a very nice guy. And it's kind of hard, it's like Taxi Driver. It's my favorite movie of all time, and now I kind of have my suspicions that Robert De Niro is allegedly up to no good.
Oh yeah,
so it's like I have these, that's my Michael Jackson. It's like I know a lot of people still listen to Michael Jackson, and they're like, I know what he did, but I can't give it up. That's Taxi Driver for me.
I feel you.
That's kind of how I feel about everybody's telling me to go watch this show, and I want to so badly, but I'm also very nervous that I'm adding to this system. So how do you guys deal with that? Because we might not ever watch anything again if we don't watch anything that's involved with these shady people.
That's the thing. It's so much in terms of popular culture nowadays, I can't watch it because I look and I immediately see the predictive programming, the things that, they're trying to push on us, all the social constructs that they want us to adhere to. But, The Mandalorian, it just takes me back to, my childhood in the early 80s. I see these little things, and there is a Baby Yoda. Sorry, spoilers, guys. There's a Baby Yoda, and that is just so cute. It's like a little Muppet. and the Mandalorian, it's Boba Fett's cousin or something like that. It just there isn't.
Boba Fett's the best.
He is the best. So
right.
it doesn't have anything to do with this social justice that we see infecting everything in popular culture right now. It is a bounty hunter, saving a baby Yoda, and hopping from planet to planet on a variety of interstellar vehicles. Social Observer also said the black cube algorithm got Sam. Yeah, that's right.
Well, a lot of people said it had to do with Looking Glass.
Yeah, I saw that you just did that.
Looking
Yeah.
Glass. And, I just want to say that, as someone who's been on my show before, both you guys, I'm John, I might be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you're into Q as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think this has been very interesting time for Q, and that the people who say that Q is a LARP and Q is all this other stuff, I think it's very hard to dismiss the information that has been coming out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, on that point, this is something John and I were mentioning before the show that I want to talk about. One of the big themes from the 2018 midterms, the Senate being the key. What's happening right now? President Trump is demanding a trial, an impeachment trial, where? In the Senate, run by the Republicans. Guess who's going to be calling all the witnesses? The Republicans. That means that people like, Alexander Vindman will have to testify. The whistle leaker will have to testify. Joe and Hunter Biden will have to testify. They can call in people from Burisma, we just had the indictment, the arrest and the indictment of the head of Burisma in Ukraine. And the indictment spelled out the method of money laundering used by the Biden family, how many hundreds of millions of dollars they stole out of that country from the people of Ukraine. I saw a really great documentary the other day. I'm trying to remember the name. It's like, it's not Ukraine on Fire. It's Revealing Ukraine. The director is coming on the show. But in that documentary, they go through and they show what happened to the Ukraine after separation from the Soviet Republic. And you can tell, like, every single move that was made, and, honestly, at the behest of the United States, was done so that they could put it into a position where it could just be plundered. And, the penultimate point was when the Bidens went in there and took over the energy sector and, and just took all that money.
Think about that, man.
It's insane.
Think about what these people did. They did the same thing to Haiti.
Yeah, exactly.
The same exact thing to Haiti. And, I've been having a lot of people on my show, and there's a lot of people who believe it's business as usual. And I have a visceral reaction to believing in anybody at the highest levels of power, or that anything in Washington is going to change, or any of that stuff. It's very hard because, the first president I remember is President Carter,
right,
for my age, and what was done to him. And, Reagan and Bush talking to Iran about holding on to the hostages just through the election so they can win, like all the dark. And now we find out Nixon asked the Viet Cong to hold off on surrendering till after like all this dark side. It's very hard for me to get behind anything. But when I take a look at what's going on around, dude, it cannot be business as usual.
No, it's
business as usual.
It's clearly not business as usual. This is the first thing that I saw that really clued me into the fact that Donald Trump was not of the same world of the political elite that he was going against, was the fact that everybody universally in Washington, everybody universally in the media, everybody universally in business, anywhere, anybody who was part of the establishment hated Donald Trump. And they said that, he is going to be the worst president in the world. Well, what's happened? Economic policies, incredible. The United States is in a better position internationally than we've ever been in. Unemployment, you pick a metric and you can look at it and you can see Donald Trump did this, and as a result, we've got this. And it is light years away from any other president that we've ever had. The things that he's doing to protect people, the things that he's doing to reverse the wrongs, prison reform. Okay, if Donald Trump is such a bigot and he hates people that are minorities, why would he go after prison reform to help disproportionately imprisoned people, get out of the situation that they were in, put in there by people like Bill Clinton? You know, I mean, it's just, it's so clear cut to me. Real quick, Daniel Palmquist says, God bless you all and great guests, be a voice of all in need, especially the children. Dana Finkler says, Sammy Trips and Red Pill 78, two of the best. Thanks, Dana. Ryan Travers, thank you. A-Pool, thank you. Ryan Travers says, Sam, thanks for all your hard work. You're an absolute legend. I love everything that you do. And then Chris Hawkins says, love the sinner, hate the sin in the world, not of it. How else can we reach people and help change everything? Kimberly Bogan says, Red Pill 78, can you please tell Kevin to go home and rest? Yeah, Kevin, go get some sleep, buddy. And Social Observer, dude, Rudy G is going all in on this Ukraine stuff. Yes, okay, so here's another excellent example. If Donald Trump was business as usual, why would he be cutting off these incredibly lucrative money laundering operations taking place all over the world? You know, another thing Q's told us is that all of this foreign aid that gets sucked out of the United States goes to places like, you know, Ukraine, goes to places like the Red Cross, goes to places like Haiti. Previously, it just enriched our current political establishment. Now, Donald Trump is not just handing that money out, and therefore the United States is not getting fleeced.
I couldn't agree more. I could not listen, man. You know, if you're gonna look for corruption in Washington D.C., you're gonna find corruption in Washington D.C. Okay, and sometimes in life, I'm just gonna say something. My grandfather was a police officer in a certain city. I'm not gonna say what city it was. When he passed, my father said, and my grandfather was a wonderful man. He was flawed, but he was loved. He loved, and he told me that when during the funeral, he looked down and he said, Sam, I want you to see something. He goes, on this side is the city police officers, on this side is the mafia. And my grandfather was a good man. He cared about, you know, keeping the city clean and one. Listen, man, we're dealing with gangsters at the highest levels. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
And you can get mad at Trump if you want because he's a gangster, okay? But you know what he's up against? Satanic pedophiles.
Mm-hmm.
So if I said to you, who do you want to move next to you? A gangster or a satanic pedophile? I think I know what 99.9% of the population would say.
Exactly.
It's just a fact. There's levels to everything. Is Donald Trump perfect as a person, as a businessman? No, okay? And it's just a fact. If you're looking for a guy who walks on water, you're never going to find him. You're just never going to find him, man.
Yep.
And it's just like you have to take a look at what he's doing, okay? And I'm not saying he's perfect because I could sit here. Like when I found that the Washington Nationals crowd booed Trump, I go, I'm pissed because I know they're not booing him for any real reason.
Yeah.
If it wanted to be like precognitive crime, giving arms to Yemen, all this thing that we could honestly go, dude, that's not right.
Mm-hmm.
I would respect that, but I know it's not.
Yeah.
I know what they're booing him about is angry orange man, bad orange man. And
Actually,
like that to me, go on, John.
Sorry, they're privileged people to be able to do that because standing room only tickets for that game were $600 a piece.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So that was not.
It was not the common man.
That was not the common person. It's $600 a pop for standing room only in that game.
Wow.
Those were
I couldn't agree
Washington
more, John.
bureaucrats, swampers,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the way through.
So to my whole thing is just like, you know what, man, we can keep going back and looking at all these things that Trump's did. And it's just like at the end of the day, dude, you know, Eddie Bravo says it the best to me. Eddie Bravo always says, if Q isn't real, if Trump isn't doing what we think he's doing, we're all done. Stick a fork in him.
Yes.
Stick a fork in us. And for these people who take pride in that a particular conspiracy didn't happen when we said it would happen. That's why I really hate when dates are put down.
Sure.
When everyone's like, at the end of August, this is going to happen. I go, we really are setting ourselves up to look bad when August passes and it doesn't happen. And
Yep.
maybe it happens mid-September, you know?
Right.
And nobody cares then.
Yeah.
But it's like, if Trump isn't what we in the conspiracy world believe he is, okay? If Q isn't what we believe he is, we're all done. And when people celebrate when we're might be wrong or wrong at the moment, and they don't realize they're celebrating their own demise.
Exactly. Like Bill Barr, like pleading for a recession. Okay, just so that, or not Bill Barr. I'm sorry, Bill Maher. Yeah, sorry about that. I saw Bill Barr's name right there. Yeah, Bill Maher begging for a recession so that President Trump can fail and look bad. But obviously, we're all fighting for the exact same thing. It blows me away when I see people still like baiting into, that idea of the left and the right, the paradigm, it's good or bad, it's us and them. And that's what they've been feeding to us for all these decades. As Q just said the other day, divided we're weak. Together, we've got to be strong. And that's the only way that we're going to be able to overcome this stuff. And I think we're getting closer by the day because the common person, average everyday people, are looking at what's happening with this impeachment inquiry, and people don't like it. People realize that there's nothing there. It's a big nothing burger, because every time a witness comes up, it's like, well, my uncle told me that he heard that Trump said quid pro quo, or Trump might have requested this. It's in my head. I felt like that happened. But then you've got people with actual access. We got the transcripts. We can read it. It's not there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just when people regurgitate things that I know they get from MSNBC, and when they bring up stuff that you're like, well, Obama was doing that as well, and then they say stuff like, it doesn't matter, that's the past, it's today. Well, right. It does matter, because you're trying to act like evil started 3 years ago,
right?
And it's not real at all, and you're just falling into these ridiculous paradigms. And like, dude, I voted for Obama the first time, but now I tell people, what did Obama do that you're so proud of?
Nothing.
And it comes down to, they'll say healthcare. I go, you mean where premiums went up 70%?
Exactly.
I'm like, where is it? I mean, again, I always have to do this kind of fine print disclaimer before I say I like Trump, and it's kind of annoying, but it's this thing I have in me, because I just don't want to ever. I will always question everything Trump does, but I always hope he does the right thing. And I think people need to really get an understanding of this, is that if this does not happen and does not go right, we're all screwed. People can't understand. I had a friend of mine on the other day, and he thinks everything between China and the United States is theater. And that, I mean, I guess you want to go deep enough, because their whole thing is that they're going to use energy as money and a control power, and but I think what we're seeing right now is real. When the yuan takes a dive, like, that's huge. When China's economy isn't doing well, when Trump takes back Long Beach port, I ask everybody, why would you give China Long Beach port? Like, what is the purpose of that? And then we find out, where would all the fentanyl be going through? The port that the government, why is a foreign government running a U.S. port?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. When I learned that was in the hands of China, it just blew me away. I could not believe that they would ever agree to that, because to me it seems so transparent. I don't know if it's just because we've been paying attention to this stuff for such a long time, but you see that and you realize, okay, well, drugs, guns, human trafficking, all of those things can happen when you've got a government, a foreign government running this port of entry, and much of that stuff is coming in from the country where that's originating. Fentanyl, so many other research chemicals, things that are designer drugs and that aren't even scheduled yet because they haven't been able to even identify them. But you've got to come into the country. You've clearly got an epidemic with drugs. Since President Trump has come in to power, heroin deaths, the overdoses, I mean, it's plummeted. We've had a lot less. He's really done a lot to do that. But then I hear that in big cities, crystal meth usage is on the rise because people aren't getting the heroin that they used to get. So where's that coming from? I mean, it's coming over the borders. It's coming through the ports, and the wall is actually being built right now. And whether you like the idea of, building a wall and shutting people out who don't belong here legally, or, you don't like the idea of sealing drugs out of your country, so what? I mean, it's not about your feelings. It's about the safety and security of our country, and securing that safety and security for generations to come. President Trump is doing that.
100%. I mean, people really need to look at what's going on in Europe right now with mass migration, immigration, like weaponized immigration, and a lot of that comes from the fact that the military industrial complex is bombing the hell out of of these countries. So these people want to get out, but it's changing the fabric of Europe. There's no-go zones where you're like, ASAP Rocky got in jail because he went into a no-go zone and he was attacked. And he got out because, President Trump stepped in. Again, it's just like people need to look at what is going on and what's actually, and stop thinking everything is patty cakes. And, a lot of the people that are pushing these narratives about anti-wall, all that stuff. Now, I get, I believe in animals that have a migration pattern, and that wall is going to affect that. And that to me is like, oh man,
yeah, it's a bummer.
We have to figure something out. But if you look at the people who are anti-wall, right? They tend to be very rich kids who live in,
gated communities
and stuff like that. And, when you have Sacha Baron Cohen coming out and pushing this very broad term hate speech, it's like, this is coming from a guy who put out 2 movies about how stupid Americans were. How's that not hate speech? Why is, there's a real problem with, obviously, the criticizing Israel. That's what's behind. That's why he's getting this award by the ADL. It's like, you have a problem with criticizing a foreign government, yet you came in here and you just openly mocked the country. Like, why is one going to lead to goose stepping and the other one is just great comedy fodder? And that's what's going on, man. It's just like you see the rich kids trying to play a game on us.
The thing that's so crazy about that is that, the very fact you mentioned that, it's a scary topic to bring up anytime I'm on a show, anytime I go someplace, because it's the one thing you cannot criticize. You cannot ever talk about it. And my point is, corruption exists in every government on the face of this earth. There is going to be people who are corrupt. I'm sure you saw the prime minister of that country was just indicted. I don't know enough about the politics of that country to know whether or not that's a situation like President Trump. Is this guy the swamp or is he not the swamp? A lot of people wrote me and said that he is definitely not the swamp, and this is, they're trying to get rid of him so that they can take over as the swamp. But I don't know, to act like there is nothing to criticize, that's just foolish.
When I see Israeli high forces referred to Palestinians as dogs.
Yes.
You know what that says to me? Brainwashing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see Israel a lot like the United States. And I know a lot of Israelis. They're wonderful people. They are some of the most entertaining people out there. You want to have a fun time, watch Israeli twerking videos. They're wonderful. Okay? So my point is like any group is full of very wonderful people and a couple bad apples. And what's going on here is you have wonderful people defending bad apples in this whole, and like all this stuff. RP and John is all about, if we do this, this is going to happen. And everything's about, this is going to happen. And it's like, when does it actually happen? But it's too late to do anything about it because laws were passed, laws are put in act, rules were enacted, and now we have a little less freedom. There's nothing. If I can criticize Justin Trudeau, okay, for blackface and his anti-free speech policy, I can criticize Netanyahu for the policies that he's enacted and what I believe, and I'm going to disagree with some of your viewers, and we're allowed to disagree.
Exactly.
In his war hawk type policies, okay? If I can't stand Justin Trudeau. I love Canadians, okay? It's just the truth. And by the way, Conspiracy Cat is awesome.
My cat won't shut up.
Yeah, no wrong with that, dude. No wrong with that. We love cats.
So Social Observer said, go deeper, homeboy, the people need you. Dana said the revolution will be podcasted.
Those are all great.
Dense Plus says, my grandson, Caton, 14 years old, has been talking about doing a YouTube channel like you, catering to middle and high school students, addressing liberal teachers and indoctrination in our school systems. Get him started early, I say. Do you guys have any advice for Caton about getting started? Studio equipment, etc.? I would say the easiest way to get started is to get yourself a Yeti Blue microphone. I use Rode. I really like it, but it's higher end, and I had to, work my way up to purchasing this. I also have a fairly nice computer. I use Apple, and I don't think you can go wrong if you have an Apple. But not everybody likes Apple. They don't like the way it works. How did you get started out, Sam? Like, I mean, obviously you were
I want to say something to your listeners real quick. Just know Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yes.
Okay. So you don't have to be doing like RP's like setup is. I'm even like, wow, that's really nice, And you don't have to start out like that. Just it's like build a foundation before you try to build a mansion. Okay,
exactly.
You gotta have a base. Start simple. And like, as much as we can criticize YouTube for all this stuff, I'll tell you, their app makes it very easy to upload to their channel, whether it's the live streaming app or just upload to your channel. All that's very easy. It's just like, all you have to do is get a cat, okay? And you can start with a cat. And that's great. That should be, that's wonderful. And that cat should always be on the show. But just to know that everybody who you ever loved on YouTube or in podcasting started in episode 1 and was like, what am I going to do? And then it just grew, and it takes time. And what I really want to say is the network of people is what grows you. Mm-hmm. I mean, it can be very simple content, but when people realize you got a lot of love and you're doing it from a good place and you're putting out quality information, the people will come. And like when I see like Edge of Wonder on your show, I'm like, wow, man, that is so cool that the tribes got together.
Yeah.
I had Abby Martin hit me up, and she's a super duper liberal. I would have Abby Martin on my show a million times. I love it. And I'll have RP. You're more of the conservative side. I don't know if you like that label, but you're more of a little conservative, and she's a little more liberal. I would have a talk with both. I'm not here to talk to people that I agree with. I'm here to talk to everybody.
Exactly. Yeah, and great point there. Rome wasn't built in a day. I mean, it took me time. I started doing this having absolutely no idea how to do it. It's like, well, what do I need? I need a way to film. I need a computer to edit it on, and then I need a microphone. So I started out that way, and then I just played around. And then, the way that I got as good as I did is because I just made as much content as I was able to. I was like, let's just shoot for a video a day, whether it's 5 or 10 minutes long, and then I can work up to like a half hour, then eventually 2-hour streams. But it's just, it comes with the territory. You start doing it, you look at what other people are doing. I basically also, I will highly recommend this, a little search engine. You don't have to use Google. You can use DuckDuckGo. But I just said, microphones for podcasting. Best, cheapest 4K camera for podcasting.
You don't have to have anything except for one thing that is the most important thing, and that is passion. Mm-hmm. You have to have passion for what you're doing. And like, I have 2 podcasts. I go from, the conspiracy Reddit page to all my favorite sports page. So I have a conspiracy podcast, which I call Spiritual Skepticism, and I have a sports podcast. Now we're all demanding that John get a show. John needs his own show. We don't know why John hasn't had a podcast, because every time he's on my show, my numbers soar and people love his passion and everything he has to say, and the conspiracy Care Bear has to get on there and start rocking, dude.
I second that motion.
Proudly announce that I bought my first microphone.
There you go.
And it's going to be portable, and I'll be able to take it wherever I go in this nice little case here.
That's awesome.
$65 on Amazon. So
yeah. I shop on Amazon all the time. I bought all my equipment on Amazon. It's great because it'll be here in 2 days.
Yeah, if Jeff is going to be a prick to my film company and throttle my content, the least I could do is get some of his products off of there at a affordable discounted price so I can rail against the system, right?
There you go. You use the cabal's tools against them.
Yes.
Yeah. So I totally wholeheartedly second that motion, and I'm really glad to hear that you're gonna start doing your own thing, John. Because every time you open your mouth, you've got something just with depth to say. It doesn't matter what it is that you're talking about. You've always got You know, we were talking the other night, and you would be talking, and then you'd be like, well, you don't want to hear I was like, yeah, I want to hear your opinion. What are you talking about? That's the reason I'm talking to you, because I want to hear what you have to say about this stuff. You know, so how did you guys get started doing what you do? John, you're a filmmaker. Okay, let's start with you. How did you get started making movies?
Came into it through Remember the Titans as an actor, and got the bug for about a year in Atlanta. I was in a Toys R Us commercial for the Grinch. Did a couple of low budget independent films, and I think it was the trip to LA in 2000 for the premiere of Remember the Titans that I was there for 4 days and wanted to come out to LA, and I was out here 3 months later, 19 years ago.
Good stuff.
Getting it. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and the struggle is real. You know,
the struggle is real, man.
It's always an uphill battle.
Yeah, but I, you know, obviously I had stars in my eyes and wanted to be a big time whatever. But I think once I got into the work in 2007, 2008, and produced my first movie, 1 Hour Fantasy Girl, that proved to me that not only did I have the capability to put something together, organize it, produce it, cast it, assemble the crew, and make sure that the production for my first production, as much as I could, I made it run really, really smooth, and people who had worked on other projects appreciated it. There were some compromises, of course, but with each one, now I've done 6 of them in 10 years while having a full-time job. And I don't see that as a negative thing at all, especially in this time, because I decided to disengage from the Hollywood system because it wasn't getting me anywhere. And of course, today, I mean, I'm not here to criticize them, but if I were to even attempt to try to crack that nut today, I think it would be absolutely impossible. Mm-hmm. Regardless of the fact that I've, pretty much cast my lot in the sense that I have done a movie on human trafficking of children and tie it to networks and satanic ritual abuse and sacrifice, which is all based on true things. However, even if I were to go into it with rom-coms and dramas and all the standard stuff, I don't think that I would have as much of an opportunity as I do today to actually talk to people who care about these issues versus the filter of Hollywood, which is always going to only present you with social issues that are the safe kind that can be pushed into political party messaging and, get tons of activists and dollars and basically get your votes. That's
focus grouped.
Yeah, totally focus group. So,
yeah.
But I took it on with a passion. By the third film and the reaction to that and seeing what happened across the board among the majority of people who saw the films that we were working on versus what Hollywood did, which was to try to kind of push us away. I don't think they targeted me. And this is not like a chip on my shoulder, like I'm trying to go up against them, because I see a lot of filmmakers do that, and it's absolutely stupid. There's plenty of people out there today with the internet, 4 billion that are online today, and all you need to hit is at least 500,000 to 1 million, and you're set, and you can grow from that. And it's like what Sam said, it's like you do it in steps and stages. For 10 years, I've been making movies, and it was this last year, that everything took off, like on an astronomical level, just because I'm talking. I didn't have to get a review for a film. I didn't have to do a social media marketing campaign. I could talk to people like you and other people around the world, and we're just getting started, for that matter, to be able to spread the message of this movie. And I mean, it's crazy, dude. We're talking like 500-600 sales plus minutes on Amazon, going from 5,000 a day to 85,000 a day.
Wow.
And staying up there for one movie just in the United States. And then we're seeing all this traffic on Vimeo, like hundreds and hundreds of sales coming in from people who are buying it, downloading it, renting it, hundreds of emails that are coming in, DMs, Twitter, tweets at us. I mean, it's just like, and this is just a talk. I mean, I had to do the product. I had to get the investment. I had to, put my blood, sweat, and tears and skin in the game. But it's like the rewards are that people are so hungry for something different, unique, and original. And if you have some kind of passion or authenticity to what you're trying to do, even the attempt at it, as you're learning, as you're going through, you stand out in a crowd, among a crowd of so many other people who are trying to imitate what they see on TV. and do a version of that in a cooler, hipper, maybe, sort of slightly modified way. And it's like, no, you got to get out there and be effing bold. Show me something I haven't seen before. Tell me that story again in a way that I've never seen it before. Because if you're only doing the stuff that everybody else is doing, then you're just joining a growing chorus of people. How many more movies do we have to see about race relations to be reminded about how oppressive it all is?
Yeah.
There was a movie called Driving Miss Daisy, which if you really want to show the true nature of what happened, that's a perfect, loving, touching film that they could bring back out into the cinemas. And I bet you anything, a lot of people would go to see it because of the fact that it deals with anti-Semitism. That's the complexity of it. They have dumbed it down between white and black so much. I'm sorry, you got me on a roll here. But they dumbed it down so much.
The Care Bear's out. The Care Bear's out.
It's like, I'm trying to figure out what Care Bear I am right now. No, but they've dumbed it down so much to skin color and platitudes. When you get into something like Driving Miss Daisy, which is not a perfect, it's an Academy Award-winning film from 1988 with Jessica Tandy and Morgan Freeman. Here you have a black man in the South and a Jewish woman. And both are outsiders because both are being discriminated against. And she's got her own, crap that she does to him and how she treats him. And he has his own stuff too. And it's all, but it's about friendship and love. And that ending of the film just, tear up every time when he's feeding her at the end, when she's in the nursing home. Those are real stories. Those are things that have feeling, emotion, and they're not trying to tell you how to feel or what you got to think, because that's propaganda, man. You should be able to paint a painting, hang it up there, and let 100 people walk by, and everybody's got a subjective view that is very different from the next person. Why? Because your lived experience teaches you something to see that in that painting, and it speaks to you when you're looking at it. It's looking back at you. But this other shit is like, it's controlled opposition, and anybody who dares to stand up to these bastards or says something that is truthful, they're totally going to kick you out. So you know what? Don't play with them anymore. I'm saying this to any filmmaker out there, any artist. Don't play with these people anymore. Don't try to win them over, because every step of the way, even if you can make them money, they're never going to be your friend. They're never going to care about you. They're only going to care about the next dollar for themselves and what they do. That is what the industry, unfortunately, has become. But the people who inhabit the structure at below the top levels, all of those people, by the tens of thousands, will be up in arms, and they will be the ones making the new art as we move into this new time. We're going to make sure that happens, because I'm going to work on building a better business model that's scalable for independent content creators. We can do peer-to-peer. We can also join channels together to create stronger content that's similar, so that people, when they go to that channel and they see that they've brought on other content, it enhances the experience even more. That's what everybody's got to do. We've got to create our own brand, but not from a marketing standpoint of what I'm trying to sell you. It has to be more from the heart of what I'm trying to show you, what experience I'm trying to give you. Because with that, you're going to take it and organically share it with all your friends. Anyway, that's my rant for the night.
All right. Well, thank you. Don't worry. We got the rest of the next hour to go over this. Sam, I'm going to get to you.
This is all for Sam, man.
I just got to do a couple of super chats. Let's see. Dana Finkler says, see, everyone has love for Red Pill's animals. Thank you for that. Appreciate the love those animals. Frank Dankert, thank you for that. Kyle Tullbox, thanks for being honest content. Thank you for that. I'm glad to be here and be able to provide it. Red Pill Doc says, any insight into Cornell and Bennington's videos and missions? I don't know who that is. Cornell and Bennington? John, maybe you can Google that for us. Or DuckDuckGo, pardon me. Cornell and Bennington. James Burnett says, game over, man. Thank you for that. Alexander Schacht says, I suggest checking out the new Tom Horn work about wormwood and asteroids. That sounds interesting. I know about that. Nick L says, Night Patriots and fam, great show. Keep fighting. Thank you for that, Nick. Appreciate it. Sam, how did you get into comedy?
I basically wanted to be a comedian from the moment I realized I existed in the universe. I wanted to be a comic before I understood there was a term or a word for that. So I was never good at school. I was never good at sports. My brother was advanced in everything. He was the #1 high school bowler in New York State and the #1 golfer. We called him the White Bo Jackson, and because he dominated, and he was really smart, and I love my brother, so it was a blessing. I was only good one thing, making people laugh. I was a C+ student all the way through college. I don't even remember doing homework ever, but I got funniest in 6th grade, funniest in 12th grade, and I came to Vegas because I thought it'd be a good place to start. At the time, it wasn't. But when I got there was one open mic every other week in the entire town. There was one open mic. So I would always hear these stories about New York City comics getting up all the time. So I'm like, I have to get up every night for as much as I can. So I started basically – before me was Doug Stanhope in the Vegas scene. And after that, there was nothing. So I started the scene, and I would do stand-up every night, and I peaked kind of at having my own stand-up show on the Vegas Strip way back in the day, being in 3 different casinos doing improv, and I opened for Nick DiPaolo at the Riviera for their Dirty Show. So like I peaked on that. You know, there's something that I think people need to understand. Like, they often refer to it as the grind, okay, or putting in your time. I'm going to tell you something. The most fun you have is when you're doing it for love, and the early parts, and you're really working on, and you're putting up a video because you love the content you're talking about, or you're going to an open mic and there's like 5 people in the crowd and you're up there because you love to tell jokes. That's the fun part. When I was very young, this guy, Paul Mooney, pulled me in a Young Comics aside, and I was at 25 years old. And he goes, "This is the most fun you'll ever have when you're running around with your buddies just for free drink tickets to do comedy. And when you start making money, that's when everything changes." And I'm going to tell you, having money is wonderful. Making money is wonderful, man. But it changes how you operate and what you do and what you don't do.
Paul Mooney,
have a passion for something.
Is that Paul Mooney, as in like Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paul Mooney's the whole reason I'm a regular at the Comedy Store. It involves a vulgar word he called me at one point, but basically, and it starts with an N. Yeah. And he basically, you know, at the Comedy Store, I'm very blessed. I got interviewed to be in the Showtime special about the Comedy Store. And
okay.
I was told that I made the cut, but we'll see. You know, things change. But one thing was, when you would showcase for Mitzi, people would hijack your showcase. They would sit next to her, and Mitzi is Mitzi Shore, the legendary owner of the Comedy Store, and they would sit next to sit next to Mitzi during your showcase just to get FaceTime with her, and she wouldn't pay attention to your set. So they would call that hijacking it. Yeah. Well, one day when I'm doing my showcase, I look out, and Paul Mooney is sitting next to Mitzi, and I'm like, "Oh, this guy's hijacking my showcase." And it turned out he's actually telling her that I should be a regular.
Oh,
and
cool.
That's how I got picked up. So whatever you're passionate about, man, just know if it could happen overnight, everyone will be doing it.
Yeah.
And the more and more the more laps around the sun I do, man, the more and more I realize that everybody has to go through it.
Yes.
Whatever it is, go through it. And it's like, you got to go through it to get to it. And I 100% believe that. And the people you see get it very early and very quick in life, and you're very jealous of them because they have it all. You never know when it shows up and when you got to pay the toll to the troll. I'm not saying I wish anything bad on anybody or you know, it's like, all these people get it early, good, their life crashes. That's not what I'm saying at all. Just like something I've learned in recovery in my life is, you know, don't judge your insides by someone else's outsides.
Absolutely.
So if you start a podcast or start a YouTube channel, and when your buddy starts at the same time, and all of a sudden he's got 1 million subscribers and you have 100, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Everybody's on their own pace. Everyone's on their own time. And it's just, as long as you're treating people well, and I really will tell you, in my life, the best thing I've ever learned to do is treat people with a little love and a little respect. And it goes a long way. And when you treat people with respect, they tend to run through brick walls for you when you're in trouble. And thus, when my YouTube channel got taken down, people came out of the woodwork to help me out because, you know, dude, I'm functionally literate, okay? Good luck on getting me to spell anything correctly, but I treat people like gold. And I think, like, listen, man, and I'll stop ranting right here, but too many people take the first exit off the highway.
Mm-hmm.
and because it's available. Dude, keep driving because you never know when the exit that you really want's coming. And yes, in life, it gets turbulent. It's like kind of like planes, right? When you're on a flight, every plane has turbulence, but most of the planes get to their destination. So like when it gets wobbly or you get angry, don't worry about it. Just stay in the pocket and just go. And as long as you do it out from a place of love, the universe usually will give you what you need.
100%. You know, I'm a big fan of keeping my own side of the street clean, if you know what I'm saying. So, you know, in my own journeys, I've realized that you can't judge somebody else. You can't go after somebody else. I don't come on YouTube to attack other people. You know, I mean, I might talk about people that are doing things wrong, but, you know, I mean, it's different. You know, I mean, you get some people in this type of business who make a living just going after other people that are trying to do it because it's low-hanging fruit. You know, it's easy to go after somebody. You start like a drama war, and then you've got like this, you know, tit for tat going back and forth, and, you know, people might get viewers, they might not. But I think that you have to go through the trials and tribulations of life in order to, you know, not only have a quality experience, but just to fully appreciate what it is that you get when you finally do have it. Because, you know, too often times the people that I've seen that do peak early, they don't appreciate it, you know, and then they think it's going to be there forever. And then once it's not, you know, I mean, that's a very lonely world.
I'm telling you, man, there's a process done. Too much in our society, we want to think that you got to be young and make it. And that's great. And it's like you feel kind of bad for the people still grinding. I'm telling you, man, you don't want to jump steps in life. Every step is a lesson learned. And that lesson learned is needed to be learned for a reason. So when other stuff comes up later on, you have the tools to deal with it. Mm-hmm. It's a blessing. Listen, whether you make it when you're 25 or you make it when you're 55, it doesn't matter as long as you get to your destination at some point. And if you treat people well and you work really hard and you put in the time, it can happen, dude. I really 100% believe that we live in a simulation. Mm-hmm. So, you know, you might have some more religious listeners, and it's just like, I saw someone put out a meme that prayers don't work, and I go, that is the biggest bunch of malarkey.
Exactly.
Prayers, man, are just the same thing as when people tell you to write down your goals, okay? When you write down your goals, I always say to people who get sober, like, hey, man, where do you want to go with this? Nobody just gets in their car and just drives, okay? You got to have the destination. What are things you want to do? So when you write down your goals, when you get on your knees and you pray to somebody, you're asking for God or the universe or whatever to look down on you and help the ones you love and you achieve the happiness that you want. That's real stuff. Listen, you know, I believe we live in a simulation where it's like there's rules to the simulation, okay? You can't just be like, I want to be president, and then you're president. Like, that's not the rules of the game, okay? Just like Donkey Kong, okay? Super Mario can't turn into a dragon and fight Donkey Kong. There are rules to that game. There's rules to this. So if you're like, I'm just going to say this, is like your life can be completely 180 in 1 year. Mm-hmm. 1 year, if you just believe in it and you put out the positive energy. There is no reality. There's only perception. Anytime anything's going on, what you focus on becomes your reality. If you only focus on the negative,
that's what's coming. Yeah.
It's only come. So my whole thing is like every day, every night, write down the 10 things that in the morning, write down the 10 things you're thankful. And at night, write down the 5 things you did well and you were happy about, and your perspective will change.
Yeah, 100%. Woke Society says, what's up, Sam? I'm pumped that your channel's back on the air, brother. Daniel Palmquist says, the 9th cometh. We've got the IG report coming out on the 9th. Fuse99 says, Sam, I don't have anything against you, but why did you have to have a beef with the Big Bear? Seems like unnecessary wall building to me. Sorry to bring it up, but I'd really like to hear your side on it.
Okay.
So you don't have to.
No, it's fine. Listen, man. You know, Owen recently went on to this Flat Earth convention, and they were listing all these comics that they said, you know, they're like, oh, these guys sell out, these compromise. My name came up, and no one goes, no, Sam's always been Sam. I really want people to understand something, man. Okay? I have no problems with this man. I try to not mention his name because he can be like Beetlejuice sometimes, and you say his name, he shows up. I have no problems with the man. The man is doing his own thing. I got called concerned trolling after I was reached out by many people to reach out to him because he was going through some stuff. So when we had our first initial blow up was because he had said the N-word, okay, in a joke, all right, and in a song. Now, this also corresponds at the time when he was also going after a lot of my friends, okay? I feel that, listen, man, people should say whatever they want to say. Owen has the right to say the N-word if he wants to. I have one chunk that I'm doing in my act where I talk about all the times I've been called the N-word in my life. And I say the word, okay? I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's this crazy thing. He had the right to do whatever he wants to, but he was going after a lot of my friends. So I said, and these are what I said, Owen can do whatever Owen wants to do. It is his life. So he got really mad at that. He texted me on my thing, some very vulgar stuff. I called him 17 times, okay? He even talked about it on his live streams about how I kept calling him and he wasn't going to call me back. So then I had a bunch of my friends hit me up going, dude, you got to talk to Owen. Things are going on. So on my show, I go, Owen, reach out to me. I'm your friend from old days. He blasts me again. He blasts me again on his thing saying I'm doing concern trolling, okay? So now let's fast forward to my YouTube channel gets taken down. I do a video in which in the video, you listen to my last episode, I go, I should have defended Owen when they were wiping him off all of these channels.
Yeah,
okay?
I heard that.
Should have defended him, okay? I said, I'm sorry. What did he do? He goes on my Instagram, goes on his Instagram and flamethrowers me again. I don't know what else I can do to end the beef and just be cool. I've tried. Hey, call me. Let's talk. I call you. You don't call me back. I go, hey, call me. Let's talk. You don't call me back. I apologize to you. You flamed. What am I supposed to do? I just don't bother with him anymore.
Yeah.
And I just let him do his thing.
That makes a lot of sense to me. You know, I mean, you can't necessarily make somebody do something they don't want to do, you know? And at a certain point, you know, it's just not worth the effort. You know, you've put everything into it that you could. Time to move on from it. Patricia Furlong says, cool idea to get together and help us find each other. I think that's in regards to your idea, John. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Fred J. asks, John, if you know Tiffany Fitzhenry. Tiffany Fitzhenry is somebody that we follow each other on Twitter, but I've never had her on the show. I reached out to her, but I haven't heard back from her. Are you friends with her?
Great.
Yeah, I know her well. She and I just recently started talking. We talked one time on the phone, and it's not like we're buddy, but she knows that I'm moving to her area now, so there's a very good chance that we'll meet up at a certain point very soon, and we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right, John, I just got word that Sam has to get to a show. Sam, thank you so much for coming on the show. Can I send you a T-shirt? Will you wear a Red Pill 78 T-shirt in your home stomping grounds?
Of course I will, man. RP, I'm glad we're friends. I'm glad you have me on your show. It means a lot to me. John, I'm sad you're moving, but I'm excited about your podcast coming out. I'm excited about the Conspiracy Care Bear going out.
That's a great name.
Wrecking shop. You are the best, dude. You guys are both. I'm glad your listeners are supporting you, RP, because you are what I love about this whole game. A man on his own in Michigan. You don't have to be in New York. You don't have to be in LA. You can be in your own place. Do it. And if you put out quality work and you're a good person, they will come. And that's fun to watch your production and how hard you work. And it's always a pleasure to have time with both of you guys. And hopefully we can all do this again soon.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime, Sam. All of that right back at you. So thanks for showing up, dude. I appreciate it. And I'm so glad that you got your channel back because you deserve it.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you guys. Take care, and I'll see you guys soon, man.
All right,
Take
peace.
care.
Good luck. Break a leg tonight.
Thanks, bud.
We'll see ya. Okay. All right, so here, let's go. There we go. We got Sam out of there. All right, you guys. So now it's just John and I. We're going to do a call-in. I think maybe let's talk about a couple things here real quick. Tiffany Fitzhenry. If you can reach out to Tiffany, tell her that I've sent her messages on Twitter. I don't know how to reach her otherwise.
Okay.
But I would love
for you tonight.
I'd love to have her on the show. Let's see. So we had a couple other ones I needed to read. Dana said kill it tonight. That's for Sam. I know Sam is going to kill it tonight. No Yanez says Bennington and Cornell. Oh, Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Lead singers. Not Stone Temple Pilots. It would have been Soundgarden and Linkin Park. Both were suicide. Yep, they were. Yeah. No, I mean, like, I would love to do an in-depth show on that. You guys, I'm going to tell you, there's a YouTuber. Her name is, what's her name? She, like, channels, like, deceased Hollywood celebrities. Sloan Bella. I anytime she has a show come out where she talks about a celebrity, she's talked about Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell on a number of occasions, and I would really, really like to talk to her because I think that is really fascinating. So, you guys, John, you got anything specific you want to talk to the audience? Because we got to have a subject. If people just call in with, random stuff, and we got to have some ground rules, guys. I know everybody wants to call in, but we got to keep it interesting for everyone that's watching at home. So here's the ground rules. When you call in, you're going to have 2 minutes to get your point across or ask your question. Then when you're at the end of that 2 minutes, we've got to have a hang up. So then John and I will go ahead and answer it and discuss. And then we will go on to the next caller after that. But I just want because, I mean, if people, because, everybody loves to come on here, and I love talking to you guys. But the point is that we've got to let as many people get on the show as possible and ask their question. And then, of course, obviously, we want it to be interesting for the people at home. I think that people want to go straight through. They don't want to sit here and have everybody chit-chat for a long time. So I mean that with the greatest respect because I love all of you. So I just need to figure out what the link is. But yeah, so we were talking about this earlier. The Senate being the key. We
have some breaking news. Hold on one second.
What?
Fox. Wait, hold on. Accidentally posted on live. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Hold on.
Wait, again?
She was either hospitalized. She was it was trending on Twitter. And this had to do with Q, so that's why I wanted to bring it up. I just saw it when I logged into Twitter here. Robert Barnes, who is a lawyer, says replacing Ginsburg will make Kavanaugh, Bork, and Thomas hearings look like gentle civility.
Demunkers says Sam Tripoli had John Cullen on his show. I would love to have John Cullen on. I talked to him on Twitter before I had a show. We messaged back and forth a few times. I would love to have him on here. That would be a great show. So are you saying that RBG was actually hospitalized, or is this another accident by Fox News?
No. This is now Ruth Bader Ginsburg hospitalized. The justice was admitted after experiencing chills and fever and expects to be released as early as Sunday morning. New York Times reports. That was let's see, 6:35 p.m. There's probably more coming out, but I'm sure the folks, will probably know more as the next day.
Oh, it's a fall. It's just a fall. She'll be fine. You know that they are giving her some incredible drugs to keep her body going.
How many cancers? How many times has she had? I mean,
we're going on 6 or 8. Something like that.
She's up there against Dick Cheney and all of his.
Methods. Man, I have not been able to get on Discord at all today. I talked about this at the beginning of the show. I'm glad you're here because I'm still getting notifications on Discord, but I can't go into the app. I can't actually do anything. But Method says that a LARP Fox News Twitter account said she was dead.
Yes, that one did. I did see that one.
Oh, that's so
I was about
great.
to wait, hold on. I got to check that out really. There's no way I'm going to sit here and go, hey, oh my God, she's dead.
Wait a second. Hang on, I got to get this URL. So my mod, Crystal Lynn, has agreed to act as the the call screener tonight. Okay. So then I don't have to, and then she'll just set it up, and then somebody will be the next caller.
I do want to. There is a thread out there, Red Pill, that I do want to address. It has to do with Burisma, and one of the things. I don't know if you've looked at this, but I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Hunter Biden is the president of the advisory board for Catholic Charities in D.C.
Really?
They handle DACA foster care and unaccompanied children in New York City and Broward County, Florida.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That is very interesting. I got to send
that to you. This is a whole thread this is one of the facts about
Broward County. Paula. Hey, Paula. Yep. This is, man, I wish I could talk about this, but Avery Jones says, thoroughly enjoyed. Hello, Avery. Glad you're here, my friend. Let's see. Did I miss any other ones? Oh, yeah. No, just that one from Demunkers. Okay. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else, you guys, because I have a couple of thank yous from last night I did not get to. Jeff Lake. Jeff, I hope you're watching. Thank you for that chat at the end of the night last night. God's Guy and Gina Girl. Looks like they are back online. Great guest, Red. I will sub for sure. Love you, bro. Love you guys, too. Glad you're doing good. Son of a green card, my friend from the Great White North, Lieutenant Colonel Bearclaw being a handler. You talking about Vindman? Is that Vindman? I don't remember where we were at last night when that came through. Michael Kenny said, Burger King's meatless burger is cooked on the same grill as the regular ones. This world is full of lies. Somebody is a vegan. A vegan is suing Burger King because... Hang on. Yeah, Burger King is getting sued because they did not disclose to this vegan that there was burgers and the other kind. The what are they called? Have you heard about these? They are meatless burgers, Wonder Burgers or something like that. It's supposed to
Beyond Meat.
Yeah, Beyond Meat, yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of insanity before we. Tonight at the what was it? The UConn game, football game. They had an interruption in the middle of the game with climate change protesters.
Really?
Literally going out to the middle of the field. I think the video is out there on ESPN. I mean, that's nothing, I guess, in the sense that people are just becoming more desperate and they're going to become more daring towards.
Impossible Burger. Thanks, guys. Impossible Burger.
Impossible Burger.
Yeah, that's what it's called, is the Impossible Burger. Okay, I actually had something that I did want to talk about from Conservative Treehouse. Actually, let's pull up. Let me get Gateway Pundit pulled up here. Do we have any military men and women in the audience tonight? Because there was a report coming out of the New York Times, reported by Conservative Treehouse, that President Trump is being blackmailed by the Secretary of the Navy. Wheezy Girl, thank you. JTB Friend says, hi from Bettina in L.A. Bettina in L.A., keep on doing your amazing work. You're awesome, all of you. Bettina, this is my friend John, who also works in L.A. Not much longer. He's moving, but bigger and better things. But Bettina, it's good to see you. And let's see here. The Conservative Treehouse. Let me get this. Here we go. Navy Secretary and former Goldman Sachs executive Richard Spencer is threatening the president. Not Richard Spencer like some of you may think Richard Spencer. Ooh, wrong button. Sorry, guys. So Secretary of the Navy, former Wall Street global banking executive Richard Spencer holds a press availability to deny threatening the President of the United States. So apparently, they said that he was threatening the president because President Trump wanted to reinstate that Navy SEAL that they were trying to remove his rank and kick him out of the SEALs. Mm-hmm. And Joel Bavacqua says, hey, how exactly do you call in? Well, Joel, I want to have a subject first of all. So I want to ask your opinion about Richard Spencer here as a someone who's a subordinate to the president, if he is outright denying the orders of the president, the commander in chief, what do you guys think should happen? And because this seems to be running rampant through the government. We've got people like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, who is denying the orders of the president, creating a whole a shadow, diplomacy going on behind the scenes, telling different countries, telling Ukraine not to follow the orders of the president of the United States. So anybody that wants to call in and comment on that, you'll each have 2 minutes, and you just click that link right there that I put in the chat box. You need Zoom to call in, and then we'll go ahead and talk about that when people get on the phone. But so this is it. It was Eddie Gallagher. They were going to take away Eddie Gallagher's Trident pin. And President Trump said, this is the guy that, he was in prison, wasn't he? He was in prison or he was charged with something horrific like war crimes. And President Trump reversed it and got him taken back out. Let's see here. Where is Gateway Pundit? Looks like we have our first caller of the night, and it's Bethany. Bethany, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Let me close my thing. I was just listening to you guys. I'm Jagged Little Red Pill.
Okay, yeah. How you doing?
Well, I was listening, and he said that he had been working. Y'all wanted to create a platform or something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had been praying about this, and I created it, and I just launched it yesterday. But I haven't really done anything with it because I know I can't do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I can change domain names and stuff, but that's what I want to do. I want us to be able to talk freely and not be silenced, not be censored, none of that. Mm-hmm. I've had nothing but time on my hands lately because I was in a car accident and I had to close the doors to my business and stuff from my injuries. So I've been losing my mind. So I feel like everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing is a mistake. And I always say that. I'm so nervous right now. I'm shaking.
You're good. You're good. Don't worry. All right. Well, how do we get in touch with you? Jagged Little Red Pill on Twitter?
jaggedredpill.com and jaggedlittleredpill.com.
Okay.
I also have a site called americaninterrupted.com. It's basically a combination between Twitter and Facebook, but you can also have your own blog and your own site on the site. It's not about money for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about money.
Yeah.
I have my life, and I feel like we need a place to be able to bounce off of each other, and it's time.
All right.
Let's feed the beast. That's what I want.
All right, that's good stuff. Well, we'll check it out. Well, Bethany, just so I can keep with the rules tonight, we're gonna go on to the next caller. But thank you for calling in. Okay.
Thank you, Bethany. I really appreciate your passion and your love for that. Definitely reach out to me at No Restrictions on Twitter too.
Yes, follow him.
Awesome. I'll get with you.
Okay,
Bye.
we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, dear.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right. Coming up next is PQ Media. Man, I am so glad that you called back in, because last night when you froze up right as I was going to, I was like, no, you waited so patiently. You were on there for like 15 minutes waiting for your turn.
What was funny was that I saw it going and then froze, and I was like, yeah. But anyway, my thought yesterday was that I want to tell you that my experience was a lot like Ben. I was red-pilled when I was really, really young.
Uh-huh.
And here's the thing. The funny thing is, it was Phil Hartman doing his Ronald Reagan.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And when he did the Ronald Reagan thing where he's playing, Ronald Reagan as a meek Ronald Reagan, and all of a sudden he's like, the kids get out of the room, and I was like, from that moment on, I couldn't see things as like, is this what's real?
Mm-hmm.
Could they be lying to us, especially since right around that time was the Iran-Contra, and I was really into that, and I was like 12.
Right.
So, anyway, the point I was trying to make yesterday before all that was that being mindfully guide your audience. You know, you're red pilling them, you're getting them out there, you're waking them up. Being mindfully, like thoughtful as how you guide them in the direction they listen to, because as Christians, believers, whatever, there's a lot of rabbit holes we can go down.
Yes.
And outside of that, I wrote it down so I can make sure I got it all in. Is you can go to the direction of being destructive or being constructive, obviously, and one leads to obviously like the bad rabbit hole where
exactly right.
They can get into anything, anything dark or whatever, and that can alter any possible good path they can go down.
I agree.
And the last one was Fritz Springer. Go check him out. Have your friend.
Talking about bloodlines of the Illuminati.
Yes, that stuff.
Yeah.
Bill Schneblin, Fritz Springer, and all that stuff like that. And John, I forgot his name, but John Todd, stuff like that. Those are old school. Those are the ones that think Bible Prophecy Club, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And the last point I was trying to make was yeah, that's it.
Okay. PQ, are you making your own vape juice?
Yes. If you all of that is vape juice that I make. This is a company that I work for. I'm not gonna say any.
Okay.
Tanks and carts, and I have every possible mod that they make. I'm I've been vaping since 2012, not a little bit before that, and I made my own juice just soon after that. And,
right on.
I only do e-liquids. I don't add much nicotine. I do have nicotine, but I don't add much. And I try to keep my stuff kind of pure.
Good stuff.
And all of that stuff is flavors. This is all whole rack right here is just flavors.
Right.
That's just pure, unadulterated flavors.
I've got a big bookshelf that's full of the same stuff, so that's how I knew.
Right. So I'll let you go back to your thing. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
The first time I heard those guys yesterday, and I was like, wow, that's kind of deep. That's awesome. Thank you very much for taking the call. I'll try to keep in touch. Hopefully when the channel gets up, and I don't know what's going to be, but I'll get in touch with you then.
All right, cool, man. Take it easy. Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yep, we'll see you. Bye-bye. All right, awesome. I'm so glad he called in. Man, because we were like, it was like and this is why I put in the time restriction, is because we ended the show, and there was like 5 people waiting. And I could tell that Rob had to go to the bathroom, And I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. And so I was like, okay, we got to hurry. And we got down to the last 2, and the bell rang. And he was like, yeah, I have to go to the bathroom, but don't worry, we'll answer these last 2 calls. Pkwy Media was the last call, and he was just chilling, totally waiting. And then at the very last second, I go to hit his mute button off, and he glitched out, and that was it. It was over. If everybody is using that link, there should not be a password. So as long as you have Zoom downloaded on your phone or your computer, there should be no password. And we know about Popcorn Lung, Crash XC Armory. Popcorn Lung was an isolated thing caused by a very particular type of additive, which is actually outlawed. And if I'm wrong, then everybody, including myself, would have popcorn lung, and we don't. Being under the care of a doctor, being someone who's mindful about their health, and who also knows what goes into the vape juice that I use, I have absolutely zero concern about what's going to happen to my health, except that it keeps getting better and better. Somebody says, yes, vaping ended my 25 years of smoking cigarettes. If you don't have to vape, then don't. But if it comes down to smoking cigarettes or smoking vape, then I would say by all means, continue to vape. I had a spot on my lung. I love telling this story. I had a precancerous spot on my lung. I stopped smoking. I started vaping, and it went away. My lungs healed, you guys. And whether that's about the power of prayer or the power of positive thought, or just the fact that I was no longer putting toxins into my body, I don't know. But I'm going to continue to keep doing what I'm doing, because I would much rather have this going on. And why is everyone talking about vaping? Go to a vaping channel, right? We're not supposed to be talking about vaping tonight. Oh, you guys. Yeah, I am so glad Pkwy Media called back. That was awesome. So did you see Lieutenant Colonel Vindman his testimony this past week? Did you see him when he was testifying?
I saw the highlights of it, and I saw how they asked him the real questions, and then that's when his story kind of fell apart.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about these impeachment inquiries? What do you think about the Democrats and what they've put on display? How has it helped their cause?
I don't think that they have a cause anymore, and I think that's becoming more evident by the day. I think the cause is themselves, and they're trying to hide that fact because they were baited into this Ukraine thing. When I look back at like what Trump did and how that whole thing started and where we are today, they have no more ammo left. And to me, it's basically like what people get mad about is like, how can you go to MSNBC, and see, and literally like you're in another reality, right? From the one that you saw. Well, it's just there for the base to hold as many people as possible because they all know, I can't believe that they don't know when, but they all know that this other stuff, the real truth is going to start coming out. So this is just to contain as many people who have the TDS like out the ass right now. And they are not listening to anybody. It's emotion based. There is no rationalization. There is no counter. There are no facts in this. It's basically how I feel. And that's what they were talking about. This is the thing. This is the crazy part. Every single one of them, when asked the direct question, were you on the call? No. Did you? No. But it was about what they thought, how they felt, what it could be, how possibly it might be. I mean, it's just like it's an imitation of the news.
It is.
It's essentially what it is. It's an imitation of the news. It's a bedtime story for the left or for the liberals that still to this day do not see that they are being played terribly by the very people who sabotaged them in 2016. I mean, it's like nobody thinks like logically through going back a couple of years and seeing that all of this is going to blow up in everybody's face. And all I can say is this: the only people that are going to be left in the Democrat Party in the primary are going to be the most radicalized group of people and the most angry group of people. Because if they believe all of this stuff and Trump is there in their mind as a dictator, you can go down the list of all the things they call him. It doesn't matter. That's how they view him and all the people who vote for him and anything that he represents, even if it totally shatters the mental gymnastics that they're doing right now. It's just more fodder for that base. It has nothing to do with convincing the rest of the country at this point.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you are correct. Gimli, son of Gloin, said, I'd send you more money, but my bathroom remodel estimate came in a bit high. Where we go one, we go all. Gimli, I feel your pain because my bathroom is in the process of being remodeled, and it's already gone way over budget, and it's not anywhere near done. So it's guaranteed that it's going to be more expensive than I wanted. Somebody made some smart comment about my financial situation a couple weeks ago because of getting my bathroom remodeled. It's not like I wanted to get my bathroom remodeled. Like, there's a certain point when a house is as old as mine. It's like 110 or 120 years old. I had a hole in my floor in my bathroom, and it extended into my kitchen. So that's it's not it's not too fun to use the bathroom when you can see who's cooking dinner. So unfortunately, I had to get it done. So Gimli, I do appreciate your generosity. And then Fred Haston says, "Good show, keep it up." I appreciate that, Fred. And Katie Forston says, "Love your open ear and grace with the callers. Well done, both of you. The people shall speak." Thank you for that. And on that note, our next caller, Trisha Barton, is on the line. Trisha, are you there? I think Trisha might have an issue getting her microphone working because I don't see the ability for me to mute or unmute her. Hold on. I gotta flip the call over to Crystal so that she can help out. There we go. Yep. Thanks for your help tonight, Crystal Lynn. I appreciate it. Once Trisha's microphone gets working, that'll come on. So, we were talking about the idea that the Senate was the key. The Senate was the key. Well, this whole thing, I've said for a long time, we needed, and the team's plan was to get to the point where we have the impeachment hearing. Because once the Democrats expend that ammunition, there is absolutely nothing left. Trump will be the definitive president of the United States for everyone at that point. When they are unable to impeach him, they are unable to do anything else to remove him. Okay, they won't. So no high crimes and misdemeanors, no misdemeanors or felonies. He's done nothing wrong, and it will be proven at that point. While Trisha is getting that microphone working, it looks like Biz Patriot and D. Stevens, no one has a microphone. So whoever is the first to get their microphone going can be the first to ask their question and have the floor. But yeah, so with the Senate being the key and the Senate being that, or being the body that would convict President Trump, should he go ahead and be held for an impeachment trial in Congress, we know the Senate's not going to do that because the Senate is the one that is. Hang on just a second. The Senate is my contractor just texted me. I was like, is he watching? Doing a great job. But. Nice. He's a real nice guy. It's not his fault. The Senate's not going to convict him. Who do we got? I thought somebody had their microphone going because I heard it. Is there any caller that wants to talk? We got Trisha, Bob, and D.
Mic check.
1212. Keep it on. Who we talking to?
D. That was D. Bob.
Oh, we got D and Bob for some. Oh, okay. Sorry. I forgot that I can't mute people or unmute people because now Crystal is in control of the call. So, Crystal, please mute one of those people and then we'll continue.
Ladies first.
Okay. D goes first. Bob comes next. D, how are you doing tonight?
Oh, we need to unmute her.
I thought that she just. Crystal, did you unmute D? Crystal or D, are you there?
I'm here.
Excellent. D, what is your question or comment for the panel?
All right. First, big fan. Been following you for a while. Sent you some email trying to help you out at one point in time. But that's beside the point. I do want to say I saw the movie and oh my goodness, I highly recommend it to anybody. Child's Voice.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you so much.
You are very, very welcome. And Red Pill, if you need any help, get in touch with me because I did send you several emails to help you out when you were looking for somebody to help you do research and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, D, I get hundreds of emails a day, so I must have overlooked it, but send me another one and I'll see that. I've got a backlog of about 400 emails that I haven't answered, and that's just from the last month or so.
And that's what I was that's what I was calling to remind you. I can help.
Okay. All right. Sweet. I appreciate it. Get in touch.
Thanks, and guys,
We
keep
love
up
you,
the
dear.
good work.
All right, D.
So
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye. All
Check
right.
1, 2.
Hey, yeah, Guy. Let's go with Guy next because I see that he's eager to go. What's up, Guy? You got your studio up.
Dude, can you believe it? This is wild, man. I just, I can't believe it. It's just great stuff.
Good stuff.
Anyway, just really excited to be back online again, and really just happy to be here, talking in the chat, helping people out, and doing our shows again. It's just it's a real blessing.
Awesome, dude. Well, I'm glad that everything is ironed out there. I mean, it's always pretty hectic when you have to move across the country. John, have you ever met Guy before?
No. Hey, man. Nice to meet you.
Hey, John, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Great. I'd love to come on and talk with you sometime if there's an opportunity.
I think you guys would have plenty to talk about. I mean,
That would be great.
Yeah.
No, but I'll definitely check out. Are you on YouTube there, Guy?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
What's your channel?
It's God's Guy and Gina Girl on YouTube. I mean, we're the only God's Guy and Gina Girl on YouTube, so it's easy to find us.
It is
Awesome.
good. Yeah, it'll be easy to find them.
Okay, great. I'm gonna check it out. I appreciate it very much.
All right,
Right
sweet.
on, John. I'm looking forward to meeting you, brother. I'll definitely be looking for you. You can also DM me on Twitter, and we can hook up that way. Tomorrow night, we're doing a live show with our brother Space Shot 76, and possibly, haven't confirmed it yet, but Severe did say he wanted to debut his song tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So we're going to do a Sunday Night Live.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Right on, brother.
All right, sweet. Guy, thanks for calling in, buddy. We're going to move on to the next caller, but get a hold of me tomorrow, okay? During the day, early.
Will do, bro. I'll get a hold of you as soon as I can. I'm going to be in church in the morning.
Okay.
But as soon as I get home, well, you know what? I'll call you before I go to church, bro. That way I'll get a hold of you because of the time difference.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be best. All right, brother. We'll see ya.
We got.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Peace.
I think Bob is next.
Yeah, Bob is next. Bob, what's up, brother?
Hey, Red Pill. Good guest tonight. And John, it's your old buddy Bob. Just wanted to check in really quick. So, you know, so much of this crimes against humanity has been perpetrated within these secret societies. And I'm not trying to cause scare to anyone, but I noticed one of our favorite Anons and my favorite patriot, Mr. Watkins, from his live streams back on, I can't remember if it was October 17th when we thought 8kun was going to come up for the first time, or it was on the 18th.
Yeah.
But while I was on the live chatting with him, because, you know, it's so cool to just hang out with him and hear him sing and share some scriptures and drop some clues and see the comment. And it's hard to follow the live chat and interact with him. But I just told him, you know, enjoy the rest of this beautiful day, Jimbo. And he read it. But the person right above me, he said their name, and I can't remember, it was a foreigner's name, like Carmelo or Casey or something like that. I'd have to go back and look. But that person's question, so I was right on top of it, was, Jim, are you a Mason? And he said yes, and then their name, and then he read my quote, but he didn't say Jimbo at the end. And it just got my wheels turning. I'm like, so much of these crimes are perpetrated, you know, by these certain secret organizations. But, you know, we get to manifest our own destiny, and our consciences, after all this stuff comes out, are going to be what decides our futures. Do we want to let these still be a part?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
And this is all done and over.
Yeah.
And I just want to hear your opinion and John's opinion.
All right.
I'm not trying to hear anybody because I love Jim and I love what he's doing.
Yeah.
But that just got my wheels turning.
All right, Bob. Well, thanks for the call, buddy. I appreciate that. John, I do want to hear what your opinion of that is.
Yeah. So
because it's a valid point.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, all this disclosure comes out and you learn, you know, you have connecting points, right? And then from there, it's going to be up to people like you and I and others to fill in those gaps, to tell the history, to tell the story, right? But the issue is this, and I was talking to some guy last night about, so I'll make this very short because I was trying to take very dense subjects and a lot of information to make it like training wheels, bite-sized pieces that everybody can understand. We are in a different time. Time as a construct, I mean, without trying to explain that, the moment that you're in, you are living in the present moment. The future and the past are nothing what you have access to. So what I explained to my friend is that once this information comes out and is confirmed by the public, and where we've had, you know, from WikiLeaks to Podesta emails to Me Too to Epstein, we're rolling forward. We're having conversations today that could not have been possible 6 months or even a year ago. And so what that means is that things are changing. We don't see the wheels in motion, but what we're going to be entering into is a new time, because the contradictions and the lies that actually hold us in place, the lies that hold us in this mental prison of what we're seeing like evolve on TV, if that was reality, if that was truly reality, we'd be doomed, right? But everybody can see that it's bullshit, or most people can see that it's bullshit. And so because of that, you can then begin to less invest emotionally and mentally into the lies. And what that does inside of somebody when new information starts coming in, especially truthful information, if it begins to flow faster than the lies, or the lies that hold you in place, then we're in a new time. And so what you're talking about is correct. Those people are not changing whatsoever who they are. They're going to follow it to the very end because they don't have a choice in it for a confluence of reasons. But it's just who they are. And because they're corrupt, I'm kind of making it as simple as possible. Because they're corrupt, they can't do anything else other than corruption. They've been doing it for so long. It is their, it's their staple, if you will. So, once we move on from this time, consciousness it already is changing, but we will get to a new point where we're digging ourselves out of the shithole and looking over the shit pile and going, hey, there's food and water and land over there. Let's go over there. And whoever is there, this is the dangerous part, but it's got to be through what we're doing. Authenticity, credible people who express honestly through this new era of transparency, which say, forget who I am. Don't follow me. If what I'm saying agrees with you and is true, and collectively we all come together around what is true. True, not what the left says or the right says, or what she says or he says, but what is true. Establishing that, then we have a foundation where we can grow upon it, and then we can make decisions because we're making decisions around things that are true, not that are lies. And so that's it. There's more to it, but that's basically my opinion on it.
I think that John Kennedy said it best. In a free and open society, by very definition of that fact, there should be no such thing as a secret society, no hidden knowledge, no hidden meanings that are passed amongst an elite few. I think that people get really caught up on the idea that, someone's a Mason, therefore they are evil. I don't think that that's quite true. I think that once you get to a certain level, then you're probably right. Yes, there's probably a certain level. I don't know what that is, but where, you've got people doing things and using that oath as an excuse or a reason to be able to do things that they couldn't otherwise do or that they should not be doing. But just because, there's a lot of guys, who are Masons just because it's a social club. They do philanthropic things, they help out, children's charities, stuff like that, or they do things in the community. That's why I've known people like that who got involved because of that, and they only go to third level or something like that because they go, they don't have any interest in doing the other stuff, or they don't even know it. They don't know that it exists.
Look, I'll tell you straight up, and not because I am, and of course I'll encourage everybody to search and scour the internet for any clues. Okay.
Yep.
But when I was a young man in Atlanta, and I was going to college, I heard about the Freemasons, but not like Freemasons.
Right.
It was presented like all the ways that you said. And I was actually interested because the Freemason version of the story that I got was actually pretty cool. It aligned with my values, which is not to say that it's kind of like what you said is everybody have the same group of parents and same childhood? No. So the proclivities to con artists, sociopathic behavior, narcissistic behavior, and psychopathic behavior, even those have a broad spectrum as to how they're expressed. So it's this time, actually, this is a good point you brought up. We are gonna have to remove ourselves from labels entirely and go to the individual, which is, who are you as a person?
Yeah.
Not what you do, not what you say you do, not how you make me feel, but who are you as a person? Because all of that has to line up to be credible now. Otherwise, we're not going to have trust in anybody.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Buddha because we've only got 8 minutes left in the program. We'll go to Buddha and then Technoax. Buddha, are you there?
I am indeed. I've been really enjoying the show, guys.
Excellent. Thank you for your patience. What was your comment or question?
Well, one of the things that occurred to me over the course of the show is, we're kind of in this, truth is coming out like a river, like an ocean, like a waterfall. It's all over the place, right?
Yeah.
But we can't all start our own podcast or show or YouTube show. What do you guys think is the best way to get the information out to the average Joe on the street? I mean, because to me, it would seem that in order to really change things, like the information, the truth has to be the word on the street, word of mouth. Like, what do you think is the best way to convey all this information that's just like, I mean, we try to keep up with it and we just go absolutely crazy. I mean, we got to tell someone how have you found, what do we do?
I've got something good on that one. Okay, so probably the best, most subversive thing that I have seen in many years is the hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself, because that has taken over the country. So people see that and they start thinking, okay, well, gosh, if Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, then what's really going on? What else are they covering up? What else are they not telling us? I think the more subversive, the better. A small graffiti, making a sticker, making pamphlets and setting them on the counter inside a store or a restaurant or something like that. Making little bill flies and putting them up on bulletin boards. Just anything like that, because all it takes is just a regular normie walking down the street to see hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself on the side of a porta potty or something like that, and then they start thinking, wow, what am I missing here?
Yeah, I would add to that exactly that the thing that is happening. I think there was a couple of QAnon postings on overheads. I mean, this has been going on for 3 years, but I think it's going to reach a groundswell of a public shift where the expression like Epstein didn't kill himself on MSNBC on the end of the beer can, because it is good for business and it makes sense to everyone who's in on it, who knows it at least causes those who believed what was told to go, what are you talking about? And then they go look it up, or they keep hearing it and they keep seeing it. And that's what we're really talking about, is the repetition of an organic, truthful movement that is expressing itself in all areas of society, whether it be a graffiti artist, although I'm not encouraging that, or what they did out here, which is fantastic, is on all the bus stops, once upon a time in Pedowood. And they interchanged it with Epstein and a whole bunch of, so they just took out the characters. Of course, I don't encourage destruction of property, but what I'm thinking is that if the people who are holding on to this, right, it would be one thing if they're innocent, right? The people defending Hollywood's pedophilia problem need to have that pointed out and that light shown on them, because no one within the industry yet has come forward about that. But I think we're going to hit that time in the next year, because if I'm correct on this, the Nickelodeon issue with Dan Schneider has not gone away, even though he stepped down.
Oh no.
So those kids, I know at least two from the Open Secret lawyers that did, or one of them that was on about a year and a half ago, said it's a slow process. They're having to lawyer up these two kids that are pretty well known, that when they make these claims, it's going to be pretty shocking when they come forward. So I think it's a combination, to his point, it's a combination of what is true and organic in us meeting with events that continue to unfold forward. So it's like our message and the event, people will make those connections, because why? Everybody's talking about it in their family. Everybody's talking on social media. So it's like it will flood all of those channels back in. And that's really where it can happen.
All right. Jason of the Great Awakening said there will need to be a path to redemption for the wicked. Gitmo doesn't have enough cells. I totally agree. Bob Gates says D-Class Big Mike in a face-to-face works for me. All right. We're going to take the last caller of the evening, longtime viewer Techno Axe. How are you, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Red Pill?
Glad you're here. What's going on, man?
Hey, did I see your last video right? And like 90% of California is attempting to secede from California.
Yeah. I think it's probably, it's about 90%, maybe 85 to 90%. There is, they're going to come on the show, but it's going to be the new state of California, New California State, something like that. They've got a website. But it's like 90% of all the counties in the state of California. It's 3 tiny little counties that are not connected. Wherever Sacramento is, LA County, and then wherever San Francisco is. Those 3 little pieces will be what remains of the original state of California should this all go through. But it's legal under the Constitution.
Well, I have a suggestion. If it's that much of California, you could always just vote to kick that part of California out of California and force them to rename.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll suggest that to them when they come on the show. But hopefully they are watching the show right now, you guys, and you hear that suggestion. It's good stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, brother. Well, thank you for calling in, TechnoX. I appreciate it, brother.
No problem, man.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Later.
Peace. All right, so John, we are approaching the top of the hour. We've got 1 minute left. Please do tell people where they can find you. We've got you on Twitter at No Restrictions Entertainment.
Yep. And no restrictions on Twitter. No restrictions on Instagram. Website is No Restrictions Entertainment. You can Google it, DuckDuckGo it. But it's NoRestrictionsENT.com. It has all of our films up there, all of our links to where you can buy them. But I just want to tell anybody who watches A Child's Voice, the most important thing is this: if it moves you, share it with somebody. We want to get the word out. You can rest assured that this producer here is not going to let up on speaking out about these horrific crimes and what these people do. But more importantly, and this is the key, it is about a message of love, the road to redemption through love. And that's what we have to do. So if you support any of our work, great, but just tell your friends about it. That's the most important thing you can do. And we really appreciate all the support that we've received to date. And we love hearing from our fans.
Awesome. Well, John, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. It's a pleasure to speak to you. So thank you so much for being here. Go ahead and follow John on Twitter. Go ahead and check out Sam and the Tinfoil Hat podcast if you have not already. Everything is in the description of this video, including a link to John's Twitter. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News for Saturday Night Livestream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.